Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's ever been anything like this in this country. And maybe beyond.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. This is bonus episode 13 and the last episode of 2024. I'm Chris Louie, and excited for January to start the January Fitness Challenge and the January Betting Challenge, but more on that later. With me, I have my co-host, the Cloud God, who's going all in on betting on Ross Ulbricht getting a pardon.
I don't even know who that is, but I am putting all my money on Zscaler launching AI honeypots for politicians, though.
That's going to be your bet on for 2024?
Yeah, I think it will not work. So I don't know that we have a lot of politicians on the Zscaler cloud, or maybe the Kardashians will announce their presidential candidacy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anymore.
And we have Glenn Medina, or should we call him FU Glenn? We'll be able to tell the listeners what that means next episode.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. Just happy to be invited to this party. Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome. You're looking a little rough. What's going on with your hair? You're usually like
It's getting long.
perfect
dude.
part. Is it always getting long? Okay.
I haven't had a haircut like you in a while, so.
Do you cut your own hair? I forget.
Oh, I'm not like Chris. No, I'm not that cheap. I'll go pay for a haircut.
Frugal.
Yeah, Chris cuts his own hair, but also eats 6 McRibs in one sitting. So
It's because he uses a Flovey. Let's get that real. Let's get that straight right now.
How do you think I'd
Is that
pay
the
for those
vacuum suck?
McRibs?
Yeah, it's the vacuum suck with the guides. He gets a number 2, I think. Just like VDL over here. I think they have the same haircut.
The McRib
Dude,
is,
those
it's in line. It's in line with the frugal aspect, man. It's cheap calories.
It is, the McRib.
So the Canadian over here, he doesn't know about good old infomercials as a kid. Remember, like, the vacuum suck? I remember watching that commercial. I was thinking, I need that. And then also the Ginsu. Do you guys remember the Ginsu?
Ginsu knives, yeah.
Yeah, they actually make them on Amazon. I'm thinking about buying one just so I can see if I can cut through some leather than a tomato. Just to, root it
Cut
out.
through a penny.
I'll never forget that. Yeah. What was the other one, too? The guy who's just like... he was going bald, so he would like literally spray paint his head. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Look, I
yeah.
have a full head of hair."
The spray paint, the hair spray paint. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just want to
I don't
know
know.
why when they called it the Ginsu knife, they had to have some Asian character representing the knife and doing the cutting.
Yeah,
I don't remember
Cutco
that.
came after that.
They're still around. Cutco is.
Yeah, I have some.
They-
They're actually really good knives.
You know, did you go all in for like $4,000 or just buy like a single one?
No, I bought the Costco special, like 6 or 7 knives. Yeah, it's like take back.
We had
Maybe 20 because they came with the steak knives.
a couple high school graduates that were trying to pawn those off, and I took the first meeting. I was like, "Yeah, come on over, man. I'll talk to you." And he's like, "So this is the one you got to get," and it was like $3,600 for a knife, a bunch. No way, man. I'm like, no. And then it just dawned on me. It's like, you guys obviously think I have way more money than I actually do, because there's no way in hell. And then it was like student after student that was in this particular class was hitting us up. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm doing this.
The pyramid scheme, yeah.
I did
pulled out
buy
their first
a
meeting
butter
deck
knife
on you.
though. Yeah.
Rate their pitch. Before we get too deep,
Who's
we
the
got to
zero?
introduce our guest, our 4th unofficial host of the PEBCAK Podcast and friend of the show, Victor DeLuca. Fun fact, Victor was in New York City at the same time there was an assassination. Coincidence? You make the call.
I think he
And
had
they both have a unibrow.
and a hoodie at the same time, right? And that strange backpack.
And he was buying a McRib.
I know.
Yeah, that cannot be me. Also, guns
No,
are
no,
illegal in Canada, so I wouldn't know how to use one, and I don't even know what health insurance is, so it can't be me.
I think big difference
They're
for him
illegal
was
in
that
New
he
York
was
City,
at,
too.
I think the big
They
difference
stop
for him
him.
was that he was at Burger King, and they don't rat out at Burger King. So
Yeah.
Have you guys seen all the reviews of that McDonald's? They're just giving them all 1-star reviews on
They getting
Yelp.
review bombed?
I'm like, Yeah. I'm like, who even goes to Yelp to review a fast food restaurant? Like, I don't, well, especially McDonald's.
So you know what you're getting. Like if you go into like a Chick-fil-A or a Burger King, like you know what you're getting. You don't go there for the ambience or the service. You go there for cheap calories.
Yeah. Did you ever see the one where somebody had posted a Yelp review and it ended up being like the default picture for a Walmart and it was the bathroom toilet that was obliterated? It was gosh.
I think it's like community votes. I think it's like the most upvoted picture. We actually did that. So we sort of did that once. I know we're launching into story mode here, but long story short, we went to a golf course. It's like a cheap golf course in the area. Like there's a cemetery right next door. The grass is nicer at the cemetery. And then like we were just playing and then they started like watering the lawn when we were trying to play through. So then we left and we got refunded. And we took a picture of one of the groundskeeper like watering the lawn as someone was playing on it. So we took the picture, posted that on Yelp, got a bunch of people to upvote it, and then that became the default picture for this golf course of a guy watering the lawn as some guy's trying to play on it.
It happens very common. Like it's very common in third world countries. If you travel a bit more, like, and I like to go on random countries, random cities, and just look at what's the best restaurant in South Sudan or whatever. And then there's just
and then go eat an effing salad. Get the hell out of here, you idiot!
Why would you
Don't tell me you're
Sudan. Enjoy that goat curry.
He doesn't even eat goat.
I know this guy is retarded. Oh, you can't say that. Demonetized. This guy is silly.
He's retired. You missed it by a vowel.
I did.
Yeah. But hey, I do have to admit, VDL has been on the show probably a few more times now than our other co-host who hasn't been on the show for quite some time now.
Our other co-host has been on a total grand total of one time, so we definitely have guests that have been on more than our supposed fourth co-host. So yeah, VDL's our unofficial fourth. Him
there
and
you go.
Coral and a couple other people that have been on quite a bit.
True dat.
A real bench warmer.
Yes, we'd have you
Either
more
that or he's got
often,
a lot of
but
time.
your time zone sucks, and we literally had to reschedule this like 8 or 9 times to get this done. So this is exactly why we do bonus episodes in December. It's just so hard to schedule, you guys.
Yeah, VDL, it's your fault.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience and are here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got some awesome end-of-year topics for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. First of all, a little pat on our back here. Congratulations to us. We've published officially 201 episodes, so including all our bonus episodes. This episode is actually 202, so great milestone. Over 200 episodes published so far.
It was all me. Thank you.
Yep.
It was all a dream.
Cap on the back. Yeah.
Couldn't have happened without me, guys.
All right, for our first topic, we're going to talk about Spotify Wrapped. This is your stats of what you listen to on Spotify all year long. Well, technically it's 11 months because they publish it on November 30th, so it doesn't count December. I'll go first. My minutes listened, 39,100 minutes, which is a year-over-year increase from last year. I think I only had 36,000 minutes last year, so definitely listen to things more this year. Top podcast, because I share an account with my children. My top podcast of the year was Sheriff Labrador. It's a kids mystery detective podcast. So I'm really no shame in that. My kids definitely dominate that. Top artist, an EDM artist. His name is Sabai. I actually like his music a lot. I was, top 0.5% of listeners worldwide and over 1,100 minutes listened to him. And surprisingly, this actually did come as a shock to me. And I told you guys in the group chat, you're never going to guess what my top song of the year was. Top song of the year for 2024 on Spotify. Try That in a Small Town by Jason Aldean.
That was you listening
I did not
to
see that coming.
Yeah. That was me. Yeah. Well, it wasn't my children, so it had to be me. I definitely did not see that one coming either.
Could have been Grace. You never know.
No, it was not.
So real quick show programming thing that we need to do. Look for a link after the call or after you listen to this. There will be a GoFundMe, so Victor will be able to afford podcast on or I'm sorry, so he can be able to afford an account on Spotify as he only listens to YouTube Music.
It is awesome.
Like the true genius.
For only 20 cents a day, you too can sponsor a Canadian to get Spotify.
Wait a minute, I don't have Spotify. How come I can't get sponsored here? I don't understand what you guys are talking about.
Are you an Apple Music guy?
I am.
Okay, well that's better. I mean, like, but being a YouTube Music, ugh.
Well, he likes to watch the videos along with the listening, right? That's why he's doing it. I'm trying to defend you, Vic.
Yeah. I need to watch videos as well, but it's the same, guys. I don't see the difference between Spotify and YouTube Music, to be honest.
You wouldn't.
Who's next, Brian? You want to do your rap?
It's the commercials.
I know you're the only other Spotify user on this call.
Yeah. So my total minutes listened were a little bit more than yours. So 53,621 minutes listening, a little stronger than last year.
My goodness.
Yeah, I had 297 artists, which is really kind of like impossible for me to believe because I just pretty much listened to only one person all the time. I think I may have already shared this, but do you guys know the number one song? It was 523 times I listened to it.
I know what it is. I won't spoil it.
Any guesses?
Was it P. Diddy?
Genius?
Was it P. Diddy?
Has to be a white rapper.
Diddy tapes.
Probably like
it was a white rapper.
Macklemore, Eminem, or something.
Macklemore.
There's no party
Here's
like a
it.
P. Diddy party. Come on now.
No, it was American Flags by Tom McDonald and Adam Calhoun. And then on that note, the artist I listened to the most was Adam. And I came in at 0.0005% of a top listener. So I might be the one guy that probably listens to him the most. And then my number one podcast was not PEBCAK. It was the Joe Rogan Experience.
Where are you guys seeing this inside of, do you have to have premium to see this?
I don't know if you need to. I have premium, Brian has premium, and we can see. I don't know if it's required or not. There should be
Apple Music does the same thing.
Does it?
Yeah, if you open up Spotify at the top, there's a tab called Wrapped, and then you just click on that.
Huh. Where is it on Apple Music?
Just click on the home button, and then there's a. Let's see here. Can you even see it?
I can't even see it on Spotify. I only listen to Spotify when I'm listening to
go to
podcasts.
Apple Music.
Okay, go to Apple Music.
Hit home
We're gonna
button.
do this live. Home button.
We'll do it live.
And then right there it says Replay 24.
Replay 24. I don't have that.
Oh. Yeah, it's got all my music that I listen to. It's not rap though. It's not the same.
I'll make a note, though, for my minutes listen and top podcasts. I do listen to a ton of podcasts, but I listen to them through Downcast, not Spotify. I bet if I listened to it through Spotify, my numbers would have been through the roof, too, because I listen to hours of podcasts every week.
Why do you use that instead of Spotify?
It's an old habit. Downcast downloads it locally, so I can listen to it if I have poor or weak or no reception. And then, since we don't have Spotify family, if somebody is listening to Spotify and I try to listen to a podcast, I will steal it because we can only do one stream at a time.
Okay, I got my stats here for 2024.
All right,
this is a
drum
lot.
roll, please.
Holy crap. What do you think it is for number one for me?
Frank Sinatra.
It's probably
No.
Neil Diamond.
I did not realize this. Somebody was using my account, but I know the kids have
Taylor Swift.
Sure.
Dua Lipa.
Oh.
Dua Lipa.
Marshmello, Third Eye Blind, David Guetta, and Ed Sheeran. Top songs that I do like. I do like this song is Nevermind. But that's like first on my playlist song, my list when I go work out. That's probably why 59 times. But yeah, but Dua Lipa for 979 minutes
That's
of
a
Dua
lot.
Lipa. It is.
You got a fan in the family for sure.
Yeah.
Probably one of your daughters is probably logged into your Apple Music on the Tesla or something.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Yeah.
Well, we all know that your favorite podcast was probably Call Her Daddy, you weirdo.
No, my favorite. Actually, you know what I got hooked onto is who is my podcast?
They're so good you forgot them.
No, it's it's a JRE is one,
Yep.
and
Okay.
then who's the guy from Dirty Jobs?
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe.
Yeah, he has a great podcast that I just started
He's so
listening to.
well spoken. Every time I listen to him, I question everything I ever do.
Yeah, and he does it so well, right? I mean, he speaks. I mean, he just has good, poignant ideas or comments. So that's why I like him.
He's all around.
Do you know
good
why
guy.
why he's so dialed in like that?
Why is that?
He got a random job at like 12 to 3 a.m. on the QVC network. And so you'd have to go on there and be like, so here's a pencil that we're selling. You can tell that it's a pencil by the way that it's a pencil. And like he just would come up all these different adjectives and stuff like that to describe it and then get stuff selling left, right, and center.
Yeah, the way you heard it, that's where and then third on my list is the podcast. So I listen to the podcast when I'm not on the podcast. So I hear you guys talking about me all the time.
As you should.
Yeah. We love talking
Especially
about
that dirty
you.
Canadian. So
I just love it when you call me dirty Canadian. Fine.
Filthy Canadian.
All right,
23 minutes in and we're still
your-
talking about this. Let's go.
Let's hear YouTube music wrapped.
Yeah, mine?
All right.
Right, my
Yeah.
Wrapped. I was in the top 0.2% of Louis Armstrong listeners.
Louis Armstrong. I love that. That's pretty
Louis
cool.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
Louis or Louis? I know it's a debate.
Louis. Like the shrimp.
Because I read,
Or the king.
I think on this, there's a book or something, and they were saying that his mom used to call him Louis, not Louis. And I don't know if that's, anyways.
Yeah,
Debate
it's like
for
Chris
another day.
Lewis, right? It's Chris Lewis.
And his most recent album, so they had a new album of him live at the BBC in London, and that was my top album of 2024. Followed by Neon Pill by KG Elephant. Third is Smile by Porter Robinson. Fourth is People Aren't There Anymore by Future Islands. And fifth is Good Boy by Jeffrey. So there's that.
Boring.
Never heard of any of
This sucks.
21,000 minutes.
21,000 minutes. That's a
Hey,
lot
can
of
you do me a
minutes.
favor? Go back to before he starts talking and then just put this in there. You guys can skip forward 60 seconds to ignore what Vic just had to say.
Respect your future governor.
Governor Trudeau.
Yeah.
What's
Arizona
your top
doesn't
podcast?
stand a chance. Podcast. Actually, it's all messed up because I migrated recently to YouTube Music for podcasts, so there's nothing.
But what did you listen to? Like, what are some of the things?
The podcasts I listen to are mainly
PEBCAK,
Grit.
of course.
I love Grit.
Amy Grit.
Grit by Jubin. Distortion, which is a French podcast on like cyber stories. Darknet Diaries and PEBCAK.
Nice.
Yeah. Darknet's a good one. He only knows
My
one
daughter
now,
likes
but
Darknet
they're good.
Diaries.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our host, Spotify Wrapped. Our podcast through Spotify gets a Wrapped as well. So this is only a subset of our listeners if you listen to us through Spotify, because we syndicate through all the major platforms. So I only have the stats specifically for Spotify. PEBCAK Podcast, the year 2024. 42% of our listeners are aged between 35 and 44. That's our target demographic, I guess.
Oh, sorry,
Our
Glenn.
top episode of the year, drumroll please, episode 173, live from Black Hat and DEF CON, where Vic and Tyson were guests. That was our top episode of the year. People who listen to the PEBCAK also like the Joe Rogan Experience, the Bad Friends podcast, and a podcast called Pardon My Take. Average rating 5 stars. So thank you to all our listeners out there that did rate us 5 stars in Spotify. Please keep up the good work. In 2024, we had a year-over-year increase of 26% more streams and 25% more followers. So thank you, listeners, again. And in terms of geography, USA was the top country. Really no surprise there. Followed by number 2, the UK. So thank you, Dan. We will have you on eventually. Third place is Australia, Canada, and then rounding out the top 5, Singapore. I would not have guessed Singapore. The first 4, I probably would have a good guess, but number 5, Singapore, surprised me.
Didn't we have a Ukraine out there too at one time?
Yeah, I mean, we have people that listen all over the world, but we're not top 5 in Ukraine.
Gotcha.
All right, and since we have January right around the corner, we have 2 challenges. I'll let Brian introduce the fitness challenge first.
Uh-oh.
What are we doing in January,
Okay.
Brian?
I have no idea. I mean, are we do that? Like, here's the thing. I feel like it's an unfair advantage if we do what we did last year because I never really stopped. Right? So that's like my pre-workout, like my warm-up routine at this point. So I am getting back into running. So I don't know if you guys are up for doing some minimal running. I think Vic, you run almost every day, right?
Yeah, at least twice a week.
Oh, okay. So yeah, getting you to do it every single day would be a stretch. So I think that would be a fair one. How far do we want to go then?
Every day is going to be a challenge too, especially since when it rains.
And we don't have fair weather here like you do, Brian.
Run outside in the cold.
A treadmill.
weather then.
How about a treadmill? How about a treadmill, Terry Davis?
You all know about the
counts.
treadmill. I'll run in place.
I mean, push-ups,
You'd be the
sit-ups.
running man.
No, we'll just set a goal like
I don't
10
know.
miles a week or something.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you know what? That's actually even better.
Yeah. Do a full. We can do a full month target.
Let's do
About a
I'm
mile
gonna
a
go-
day,
Yeah.
7 days. So a mile for every day of the week or every day of the month. That way,
31
if you
miles
don't
for
do
31
it in one
days.
day, you could make it up the next day. How's
There
that
you
sound?
go.
All right.
Yeah, 31 miles, 31 days.
January Fitness Challenge. Let's go.
And Vic over
I
here will
like
probably
it.
do it in 2 days.
I have no idea what I just agreed to because I have no
Freaking
idea
animal.
what 31 miles are. Like,
I'm the runner.
It's
of the
62
group,
kilometers.
Brian.
Yeah, don't worry. It's 96 kilometers, something like that.
It's like 2 marathons. No big
Yeah.
No,
deal.
it's not. It's 1.6. It's 1.6. 31 times 1.6.
okay.
49.8 kilometers. You
We're rounding up 50.
Yeah, 50. There you go.
Now, do we want to, I don't know, time it
Wager?
and see if we get better over time? Like, say, hey, your first run was 10-minute mile, and then, or, I don't know, 3-second kilometer, whatever you guys
I'll
do.
be lucky if I make 20 minutes on the first mile for my first time doing it, but sure.
And it varies for me too, because I have a path around my neighborhood that's very hilly, and I have a path around my neighborhood that's very flat.
So you can start with
And
the hilly
I'll
and
be
then
doing
end with the
treadmill the
flat.
whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And treadmill's an unfair advantage.
Well, then, do you just want to see, like, all right, so 31 miles, 31 days, and then
Start time
some
and end
type of
time.
increase.
Yeah. What
Like,
what
some
do you
type of
start time and
PR.
end time? Yeah, start time and end time.
Yeah. See,
I
if we
can't
get
imagine
down.
we're not going to get better during the 31 days.
Agreed.
I think you'll hit a plateau like halfway through, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your knees
We'll see.
survive.
All right.
If
I'm
you're
not
what?
scared, but it's my back, knees. Yeah, that's no big deal. I'm
All
not
right.
that old.
Tossing
I'm
it
going to
over
shave my
to.
head so I can get better windstream when I'm running on the treadmill.
There you go.
I'm going to shave my head so I can run faster.
Shave the beard. It's creating drag.
No.
Yeah.
All right,
It's-
VDL.
it's my makeup
introduce
for men.
the January betting challenge. So we're gonna have 2 different challenges this
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. So since Brian's trying to become fit, I was thinking, it's not all about physique. We also need to get smarter. So we're going to have a betting challenge on I don't remember the name of the US platform, but as a Canadian, I'll use Polymarket, which
We're not condoning betting though, right? So just be clear about that on the podcast.
No,
Do it
the 4 of us will do
responsibly.
it. You can join if you want to. Play responsibly. And for
Yes.
the US people, it's Kalshi. Kalshi is the app we're gonna use.
Kalshi. So we're
And
all going
Polymarket's
to,
rest of the world.
we're all going to start with $100 on January 1st, and we're allowed to bet on anything we like. And the winner is the person that has the most amount of money at the end of the month. And just to give you an example, because Polymarket is not a standard betting platform, so it's a platform where you can bet against other people. There's no house, so you're not betting against this
governing body or anything like that. So for example, right now I can bet on what price will Bitcoin hit in December, what is the Fed decision on interest rates in January, how many tweets will Elon Musk tweet in December, will Trudeau be out in 2024? So there's a bunch of different options, and I think that's fairly funny. So I think we're going to have a jolly good time, and who knows, maybe the person winning is going to have $20 at the end of the month. So we'll see who's
But the betting's gonna.
degenerate.
But the betting has to finish before
Correct.
the 31st, right? So you can't
Correct.
bet on Trudeau out by the end of 2024.
Yeah.
Well, you could
exactly.
if he's out by January 25th, and you're going to make 91%.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so you have to hedge your bets. Like I'm looking at Kalshi right now. There's one bet here that says, what will the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie Rotten Tomatoes score be? Above 75, above 80, and then you can bet. Because the movie comes out Friday, so you obviously can't do this for the January challenge, but you can have time-based bets like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to say this. We already have an advantage because the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Like I think we have 30. We're already in the lead by 30%. So Vegas, you have to dig yourself out of a hole, brother.
It's fine.
Will there
We're all
be a
betting
bird
in
flu
US dollars.
pandemic this year? Yes.
Will it be COVID-32? Yes.
$100 turns into $1,700. We already have a state of emergency here in California for bird flu. So there's that.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Newsom.
He just bought a $9 million house on a governor's salary. How does that happen?
Good for him. I bet it was paid for by PG&E.
Yeah,
I mean,
no kidding.
$9 million in California, that's like a one-bed apartment, right?
Practically. All right. We are going to move on to tech news. There were a number of tech stories this year. I mean, I'll read off some headlines. Stop me if you want to pause and chat about it. But I think the the AI boom continued roaring into 2024. NVIDIA's rise, Intel's fall was a big theme of 2024. We saw major service outages. So it just goes to show no matter how developed we are in technology. We had AT&T and Verizon, two of our largest carriers here, had major downtime at one point in the year. Azure had a huge outage, but it was eclipsed by the even bigger outage, which was caused by CrowdStrike's. CrowdStrike's update push that bricked, I don't know, how was it, like 90 million computers or something all at the same time. There was that.
Do you think that next year, like at Black Hat or DEF CON, it will be called Next Gen AI?
I'm sure it will be. Next gen in front of whatever the key buzzword is.
Machine learning based AI.
AI-powered AI.
AI powered machine learning powered by AI.
How many corporate
machine
buzzwords
learning.
can you get in?
Yeah.
Tech layoffs, they call it the year of efficiency. And there's another record year for tech layoffs. I think with the advent of AI and quote efficiency, being able to do more with less. I think Elon Musk led the charge there. He famously fired 90% of Twitter's staff, and the site runs just fine. So other companies copied that and laid off a ton of people, and just still continue to work.
So can we talk real quick about CrowdStrike and how like bulletproof they are? So that outage, they're in the 380s and went down to like 200, and now it's back
price.
at 3. Well, I guess it tanked. The whole market tanked today. But yeah, it was as of the 16th, 2 days ago. It was back at 388. Like it's insane.
Resilient.
Like
So resilient.
Buy the breach.
Very resilient.
Always
A
buy
lot
the
of
breach.
A lot of people thought that they're done for. It's over, and it just goes to
Yeah.
show there's switching cost, and it is a really good product, and they just had a momentary lapse of judgment, and I think people were willing to forgive them.
I can almost guarantee you that if I had gone all in on CrowdStrike, they would have just went bankrupt. So
Yeah. Everybody be a Sentinel One customer.
So you're welcome. Glenn says you're
so
welcome.
you guys
for
are
not
welcome. I
buying.
didn't invest at that time. Yeah.
Major ransomware attacks in the news. United Health, Ascension Health, CDK, Microsoft had their emails stolen. AT&T had a massive data breach as well. The one I forgot to put in here, the NPD, National Public Database, that was the other very large breach, like 3 billion records lost. And we had that podcast where you could call that phone number and it would tell you like who you are, where you live, what your email address is, and all that. So all that data is out there now.
Check out both AT&T and Microsoft going for the twofer. They were in both ransomware and service outages. All right, let's go.
Yeah, where's the hat trick on that one?
That's a poly market bet right there, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, we started the year Ivanti VPN attacks. We're finishing the year with Ivanti attacks again. I don't know how much longer that company is going to be around with all the bad press they're getting. A number of cybersecurity acquisitions. HPE bought Juniper. IBM bought HashiCorp. Fortinet bought Lacework at a fire sale price. MasterCard acquired Recorded Future. Wiz acquires Daz. Another.
You go back to MasterCard, like they're not that big of a company, but the money that they spend for security, right, is pretty impressive. The fact that they bought Recorded Future kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, ties into their threat intelligence. I know MasterCard also bought a company, one of the IronKey founders started, CipherTrace, I think it was, and that's like blockchain anti-money laundering. So they have a lot of ancillary industries out there, and they're not just a credit card processor anymore.
Yeah.
you said Wiz acquires Daz, but no one ever talks about, maybe because it didn't come through, was the fact that Wiz almost got acquired by Google. For $23 billion. It's like crazy.
Is it real? Is it confirmed, or was it just leaked? I always got the feeling that was sort of a...
You think, yeah?
Rumor.
You think that was just leaked?
Fact. Yeah, because no one from Google confirmed, right? So...
I think they were in talks, and then Wiz used it to justify a higher valuation so they can IPO, and then Google said that this probably won't get past antitrust law here in the US. So they said it would have been nice to, but I mean, if I was Wiz, I think they would have taken it. I don't think there's any way they can IPO for higher than $23 billion.
No.
I don't want them to IPO at all. I said it.
Zscaler will acquire them.
It's a nice to have product, but I don't see the value in it. We're going into the year of, cutting cost and optimizations. Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the first efficient. That's the first thing to trim, and then the second one will be some wild security company that no one's ever called. Like, what's it called? Nagomi.
Well, it's a hot take, but I would say that cloud workloads are probably more important than on-prem for a lot of companies. So it's something that you could argue, Rod.
Well, let's be real. Like if I am an employee and you've gated everything, but I do have access to Azure, AWS, or GCP, I'm just gonna stand up a server there, jump on that, and then do whatever I want. So yeah, protecting those workloads is gonna make sense. Mm-hmm. And the only way to do it is with Zscaler. There's not another product out in the world that can do that.
Zscaler is
I think.
Yeah. The very famous Zscaler CNAP.
No, not CNAP. I'm talking about taking that traffic in line.
Zscaler.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Cloud connector.
This guy, how quickly he forgets where he came from.
That's if you have Zscaler on your device, right? BYOD.
I remember Zscaler CNAP tag team. I remember.
He's like that Mr. Burns PTSD meme. Like every time he gets brought up, ZPC.
Yes.
Looking for a misconfiguration is wildly different than protecting actual workloads.
Yeah, that's why they bought Daz.
Let's be real. What does Daz even do?
It's a runtime
Daz's
protection,
people thing?
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Wiz already had well, I think Lacework was probably the best of breed for runtime, and then I think Wiz had acquired Daz. I guess they could have bought Lacework.
Wiz almost had acquired Laceworks too, right? That was kind of one of that was a hit and a miss.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Wiz took a look at their books and they said, "No way, we're not touching this with a 10-foot pole."
Almost worked for Lace.
All right, and then rounding out the top cyber headlines: Snowflake customers hacked. Famously, I think it was that Ticketmaster, I think, was one, and there are a couple other companies. AutoZone might have been another one. Snowflake
Get in the
had
zone.
single factor authentication on their demo accounts, and they copied all their production data to these demo accounts, and these demo accounts got credential stuffed. They got popped. They got info stolen, and then all this data is now public. The TikTok ban, which is set to take place January 19th of next year, a day before Trump gets inaugurated, is supposed to take effect. It's heading to the Supreme Court here in the U.S. now. And then lastly...
Hey, I hate TikTok, but we shouldn't be banning it. That's stupid.
And lastly, Telegram
Government
CEO
overreach.
Pavel Durov was arrested. And surprise, surprise, after his arrest, he now starts cooperating with law enforcement. Before, he had that, like, F you, I'll never respond to warrants, or I don't talk to police. And then, sure enough, they arrest him, and now he's cooperating with law enforcement to get, like egregious things, like CSAM material taken down off of Telegram. He refused to do that until he got arrested. Now he's actually agreeing to take down some of this horrendous material that's on his platform.
I'm sure they put him in a cell next to Bubba and convinced him he should cooperate.
You do this the easy way or the hard way, Pavel?
Do you know that you don't have to edit this one out? So just know that ahead.
Only a guy from Arizona would know.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm from Pittsburgh.
I think with the new head of the FTC coming in starting in January, I think we're going to see massive M&A activity in 2024. I think it's going to be a huge year for M&A. Like, we're not going to get blocked like Adobe Figma or Kroger or Albertsons. We're not going to get those blocks anymore. They're going to be way more friendly to M&A, and I think we'll see maybe even like
I
10x
sell an M&A product.
activity.
Yes. But you said AutoZone earlier and reminded me, like, you guys the jingle for O'Reilly's? Auto
No.
parts?
Hum a few bars.
Yeah.
You go, O'Reilly.
Okay, yeah.
Auto parts. My sister-in-law came over to the house. She's like, Ozempic. And I was like, gosh, now it's always in my head.
I guess that should be a news headline. I don't think I put it in here, but that's probably a pretty good transition. So, top news headlines of 2024. It was the year of GLP-1s, things like Ozempic and Wegovy. All these, they're diabetes drugs, but they technically curb your appetite, so they became weight loss drugs. So that was a big change, or a big push. And there's all these shortages too. Like, it's impossible to get. There's all these counterfeit versions of it.
Yeah. So do you think it's working? Do you like it, Glenn, or is it?
I still look fat to you? There you go. That's your answer.
Got to inject yourself twice a day.
Yeah,
I have
take it right in
my
the
stomach
eyeball.
stapled, and I ate right through it because I'm a man.
I don't know. You're
I
the
actually
one that's
know
looking
that
anorexic over there. So.
Yeah. Dude, we have someone in the family, and I think they got not a stomach staple, but the sleeve. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so it prevents you. Homegirl ate through it. Like, she lost a bunch of weight, and then she just was like, F it, right? And this, I don't know how she did it, but she plumped right back up.
Yeah.
And
So,
has that sleeve on her stomach somehow and defeated
And it grew again.
Like, I was like,
yeah.
yeah, you should be a superstar, like
Yeah.
the next version of Deadpool.
I think people fail to realize that it's great in the immediate, but long term, if you don't change eating habits, lifestyle, you're going to go back to square one, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it helps people get to where they want to go, but they have to want to get there, and they have to have the discipline for that. And it's that the age-old saying, they said, losing weight is easy. I can starve myself for a week and lose 10 pounds. Keeping the weight off, now that's incredibly challenging because, like you said, it requires a lifestyle change. Like taking the stairs instead of an elevator, like that's a lifestyle change. That's not something that any medicine's going to fix.
yeah.
Here's a hot take. I think Victor would probably be 300 pounds if he lived in the U.S., but he's too poor. He can't afford food in Canada. That's the reason why he's so skinny.
He eats like a rabbit.
Oh wait, he
Just
does
has
eat like
some
a
lettuce
rabbit on
tonight, guys.
purpose.
Yeah, carrots, lettuce. Like, he eats exactly what I feed my rabbit.
Yeah, I wish I had that 2-pound jar of mayonnaise like Brian at Tesco or whatever you guys do your grocery at.
It's the only way I can get in through the door. Just got to lube myself up and just jam it through.
All right, other news headlines. I'm going to say politics for last because there are a lot here. But if we remember, at the beginning of the year, Francis Scott Key Bridge gets hit and collapsed, killed 6 highway workers on that. I think that was in Baltimore.
That was more than that, right? There was actually people that got killed, like in cars.
I don't think so. I think the people in the cars made it off. It was the highway workers that weren't expecting to get hit. I think they were like on a dinner break or something. So they're just sitting on the side, and then they got hit, and then the bridge got hit. Paris Olympics, first and last time breakdancing was a sport in the Paris Olympics. 2 hurricanes slammed the East Coast, Milton and Helene. Julian Assange, good friend of the show, he walks free. He's finally done with his charges. He can leave that Ecuadorian embassy. UHG, the United Health Group CEO, was assassinated in New York City, which Victor knows absolutely nothing about.
I still can't believe that there's people that are pro assassination. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting take.
He's not the actual CEO of United Healthcare, though, is he? Because they have hundreds.
Yeah,
of CEOs.
I don't know what.
He's one of many.
He's CEO,
or he was
one of them. Yeah. And then did you see after that all the other health insurers started taking off their leadership profiles on their websites?
No, I didn't see that. I don't blame him though.
Yeah, because on the website, even on our corporate websites, hey, meet the E-staff, meet your CEO, meet your CMO, things like that. So all these healthcare insurance companies just started taking all that off. They're just trying to erase all that stuff off the internet.
Can you imagine angry users? You're blocking me from gambling, going after Jay.
As if the SEC was destroying all 10K filings.
Yeah. After the election, stock market and crypto boom, I would say up until today, we've had one heck of a run. Little cold water on that one today with the rate cut decision. The famous rise.
How did the rate cut go? I didn't missed it.
Quarter point rate cut, but they also said they are going to slow it way down next year, which they were the market was expecting it to continue into next year, but the Fed took a much more hawkish tone and inflation is not really under control. We're going to stop.
Hawk to a tone?
Hawk to it?
The rise and the fall of Hawk Tua Girl. So she had her more than 50 minutes of fame, had a podcast, had her moments, sold her merch, and then she squandered that all away on a meme coin, which if you believe the narrative, she was tricked into making this coin, and the people that set up the coin were the ones that rug pulled. She didn't have anything to do with it. But she doesn't make her any less culpable. So she's actually disappeared. That's a bet off on Kalshi. Is when will the Hawk Tua Girl reemerge?
Is that like FTX? You really think? So
no. Pump the brakes here, guys. Not that I am at all team whatever her name is, but let's be real. I kind of believe it. The girl that is infamous for saying "spit on that thing" got duped somehow? You're kidding me, right? Absolutely believe that. I do not think that she's sitting on $50 million. I think that she was a pawn in some really cool plot to take everyone's money.
Yeah, and if you listen to the last episode of Darknet Diaries, they go into really great detail into this company called Pump Market, and it's anyone can go on there. Glenn can go on there and make Glenn coin, and then it's based off the Solana blockchain. And I mean, in the name of the platform that they use, it's called Pump Market. That's half of the pump and dump scam. You don't go into Pump Market expecting to get rich. I would never invest my life savings into something called Pump Market.
Well, that's your opinion, but I think she's the next Satoshi, so we'll see.
So if you want to invest your life savings, what would you invest? Or what did you invest is the real question.
Buy BTC. What I told all of you guys to do. Buy BTC.
Dogecoin. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You've shared enough information with me that I, number one, I look at this and I say, it's incredible that you held when you made 100% and 200%. And now that you're sitting at 1,000% return, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. I think you're full of crap. And if that, you should be, if you really did get in that early and you held somehow by some act of God that you actually did this, then you should be sitting here thinking to myself, why on earth did I only buy X amount of coins. I had more than enough money to buy 1,000 instead of just whatever that number is that I want to out you with. Supposedly, hypothetically, right? We don't know who's listening, but I don't believe it for a second.
Brian,
let me tell you how.
He's not smart. He's delusional. It's different.
Yeah. Let me tell you how
business
crazy
plan.
it is, right? Let me tell you how crazy it is. I told you whatever I invest in, it's going to go down. I switched my whatever Doge or whatever to BTC at 108, and what happened yesterday or today? It's down to 101.
Thanks, Glenn.
I told you,
The market.
whatever I invested just turns to shit. So,
Glenn, can you short the
Poor
Bitcoin,
Glenn.
please?
yeah.
Yeah, short of Bitcoin now.
I mean, I am a Doge whale, so.
Couple of sports headlines. 49ers lose the Super Bowl again.
Yep.
Dodgers win the World Series again. And there's that famous fan interfered with a catch at one of the games. Remember that, seeing that?
Yeah.
And then the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. The boxing match. Exhibition.
Planned BS.
Planned.
Rigged. Yeah. I love that you didn't put like who won the NBA championship, because no one knows. No one watches the NBA anymore. So I'm glad you left that out.
I actually don't know. It was Denver Nuggets last year. I don't know who won this year. It wasn't the Warriors, so that's all
Who
that matters
cares?
to me.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. Never mind.
It was whoever played against the Dallas Mavericks, I remember, because I'm like, I want Dallas to lose because Mark Cuban's a giant a-hole and I don't want him to win.
Homeboy, he turned the other cheek real quick once Trump got elected.
He did. He
He was
deleted
like, "Oh,
all
I
of
stand to
his
lose
tweets.
lots of money."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Oh, wait a
deleted a lot
second.
of tweets after Trump won.
Maybe I shouldn't.
All right, switching gears over to politics.
Yeah.
Not one, but two assassination attempts against then presidential candidate Donald Trump. I think that was pretty wild, at least in our lifetimes, that we saw that happen. Actually, two of you saw Reagan, and technically I was alive when somebody tried to kill Reagan. But Donald Trump reelected, winning Times Person of the Year. The Harris campaign burned through $1.5 billion in cash and ends up $20 million in debt.
Wonder why this country's in debt. The prime example right there.
Trump
We spent $1.5 billion and still lost to a convicted felon. Let that marinate for a second.
guilty of 34 felonies in the famous lawfare case against him in New York. Biden drops out of the presidential race. I can't remember the stat, but this hasn't happened in a very long time where an incumbent president does not rerun. I think it was LBJ was the last one to do that.
Drops out or was forced out, to be determined. I felt like he was forced out.
Potato.
Yeah.
Sweden joins NATO. So NATO has yet another country that joined. Hunter Biden pardoned, a really controversial decision after months of saying that he would not pardon his son. Our current lame
Can you imagine
pardoned his son?
the conversation? Hey, I need to pardon you, but how far back should I go? And you're talking to a cokehead. He's like, I think 14 years covers it, Dad. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Did you see the meme that's
When was
going
that?
around with him having to call his dad again? Says, "Hey, thanks for the pardon. I need another one."
That's amazing. I mean, coming from a Canadian, that you guys, like a president can just pardon for anything, any crime, at any, like even things that he's not. I mean, it's just insane. I can't even begin to comprehend. But it's good memes. Good memes. Like, hey, Dad, can you just pardon me? Yeah, sure, son.
Yeah, no
crazy.
accountability.
Yeah. That's after
Oh,
he
so
stated,
do you guys-
right, that there's no one that's above the law. So,
Yeah. And he got community noted on X.
yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Hey, you know what you missed when you were talking about Trump was the fact that Fox had to settle out on the libel suit against Trump.
It's
15 million.
that wasn't Fox. That was ABC.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, you're right. ABC. Sorry.
ABC and George Stephanopoulos. Yeah, they had to pay him $15 million for
Yeah.
slandering him on air.
How bad do you think he felt having to eat that? Because he had to actually retract too, right?
Yeah, he deleted his X account too. He's gone dark, Stephanopoulos.
Well, he's
So,
$15 million
let's
lighter
do
in the pocket. So
quick over-under. Let's talk about U.S. pardons by president. So Joe Biden had more or less than Barack Obama?
I already know the answer to this, so I'm not participating.
you can have more because
Less.
Barack Obama had like 1,500, right? He had a lot.
Yeah, I'd say less.
So Barack, well, he had, so total pardons versus commutations is a little bit different. So a pardon, Joe only had 65, Barack had 212, but he also commuted 1,700 people, focusing largely on nonviolent drug offenders. That was one. So let's say Trump versus good old George W. Bush.
I think he's going to be
W
less because I think in his
more.
first, I think in his first, he didn't pardon that many at all.
So you would be correct. Donald Trump did 143 versus 189. And we'll go all the way back to Clinton. So you got Clinton back in 93 to 2001. Do you think he had more or less than all the other candidates that we've had in the past, 5 U.S. elections?
Bill Clinton pardoned his brother Roger. He was a cokehead.
Yeah, okay.
There's a trend
The
here.
old booger sugar. Yeah, right. So believe it or not, Bill Clinton actually pardoned 396 people, more than any of the others.
Yeah,
And he
well,
was
I
the
read
most,
this.
I guess he had 8 years.
and he was the most fiscally responsible president, apparently, in the last
He
25
was.
years.
Yep. He also stood on a lot more, I would say, Republican principles back then. If you go back and listen to what he had actually said, very harsh on immigration.
It was after the 94 midterms. No, 94 was an election. I think it was 96 midterms when it was a clean sweep, a Republican sweep, and then that's when Bill Clinton moved to the center from being left. Back when people would change their mind when the people demanded them to. All right. Unwinding DEI. There's a large number of very large companies that did away with their DEI programs. They said, while it looked good on paper, it did not translate into sales, and there are lots of boycotts for that. So a lot of those programs are being unwound.
Mark Cuban was one of them. He's the leader of DEI.
Yeah. And in the international relations front, Hezbollah pager explosions, walkie-talkies explosions. Their entire leadership just got droned out of nowhere. And then the Hamas leader getting assassinated inside Tehran. So I think that's yet again, you do not want to mess with the Mossad.
What about all the drones on the East Coast? How's this not on here? It's like
That's true. Yeah, I did miss that one. That's
unknown,
more
right?
recent.
Still
development.
unknown what they're coming from.
And they're clearly UFOs.
I don't know what to think of it.
It's the CIA. Just
Every
like
time
the
I go down-
birds. It's the CIA, man. They're just less and less covert now. It's been since the 80s or 60s. It was the birds, and now they shifted to drones. So birds aren't real.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's the internet kind of sucks for this stuff, right? Because like every time you see like a footage of it, it's like it's a drone. Like it's a DDI drone. Like what are you guys talking about? Like this is not.
It's like everyone's
all
an
what
expert now. Yeah, I mean, the vast majority are just
yeah.
airplanes and helicopters. Like that's just what they look like at night. But there are certain things.
And now you got people
unexplained.
saying that it's flying all the way out to Ohio on a single charge. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know. I'm on the team Bigfoot's not real type of subject right here, and until I see better evidence. And there's got to be some sort of honky redneck that is going to shoot these things right out of the sky. There's too many gun-toting Americans that are just not going to put up with this. I don't care if you're in New Jersey or the backwoods of West Virginia. Like at some point, if this is real, they're going to see it. But the other part too that's kind of weird is like no one can actually tell like the size of it. Like obviously, AR or 22 ain't going to shoot down a big drone if that's even a real thing. But a small one, right? The little ones we have flying around personal use, that could be it. But I don't know. I just think it's a bunch of teenage kids with nothing else better to do but just to mess with people.
I said before, this is just a viral marketing campaign for Raid Shadow Legends. They're just going to say, it's player mobile game. This is all the drones are about.
Have you guys seen
Birds
the
are real.
the drone thing that they did? They took 5,000 drones and flew them all up in the air, and like they had them like a grid, and they have all these different colors, and they're like doing like Santa Claus,
It's like
and
a light show.
Christmas Village.
Yeah.
It's like it is fireworks on steroids. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, without the explosion or the pollution or the danger.
Number one, I love the explosions and the pollution, so that has nothing to do with it other than it just looks cool. So don't be trying to get all green on me, you weirdo.
All the special pyrotechnic permits you'll need to operate them. Or the fire hazards.
Hey. All I know is the fireworks that I may or may not have are illegal here in Arizona, but we'd be popping off.
What, the Second Amendment?
Baby.
The Second Amendment does not protect fireworks. Wow, that's communism. Come on.
We live in a very dry state, and bullets don't start fires, but fireworks do.
Tracers do. That's
Dude,
why tracers are illegal in California.
Yeah. Dude, all the state trust land out by my house, like I took the dogs out on the side-by-side. I dropped them off, and then they chased me. We're going through, and there's just like these pockets of the desert that have been recently been on fire. I'm just laughing. I'm like, damn, this is what, yeah. Kids go out there, do bonfires, get drunk, and then set the state trust line on fire. But whatever. Oh, we had to talk about notable deaths. So, anyone on this list sad to you guys?
I just want to know, like, what we should ask is, as since they're gone, and we should probably look for the second half of the year, deaths for the second half of the year, if any of them are associated with P. Diddy. Get it?
Oh, I can use ChatGPT and find that out real quick.
Because Liam Payne had a comment about P. Diddy a while back, so.
Do you see the last one right here? It says probably Glenn's cars. Notable deaths.
What?
Hey.
I don't know, but that wasn't me. I didn't put that there. I wish I thought of that, though.
One of my cars, they're all going right now. What are you talking about? None of my cars are dead.
For now.
So I don't know about you, but my cars run. Well, my cars will run after post-apocalyptic EMT. So.
Emergency medical technician?
Or was it EMP? EMP. Sorry, EMP.
Tesla.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
I think O.J. Simpson was not unexpected, but a funny one. And I can't remember the joke we did on the podcast, but he died doing what he loved, making sure that his wife's killer was dead, or so, it was some joke like that.
He can finally rest in peace,
knowing that Nicole's killer is dead. Yeah. Donald Sutherland, good actor. Sad to see him go. Shannon Doherty,
Canadian.
She was young. Yeah, Donald Sutherland is Canadian. Shannon Doherty is pretty young. I think she was in her 50s, but it was cancer.
Was that one of those coked up incidents, or was that natural death type stuff? It wasn't natural death.
I think it was cancer. I think she had like a long fight with cancer. And you mentioned Liam Payne.
So Dr.
Was not
Ruth,
a suicide.
What was it?
They think it was homicide. I can't remember. I have to go look at it again, but I think they ruled it was not a suicide, and he had some spat with his girlfriend or something right before.
Toby Keith?
And then Liam Payne.
Oh.
From One Direction.
So did she push him off?
Yeah, they said that he fell off, but he was passed out already. So how could you fall out being passed out? So
yeah,
dude. All right. There is no way in hell that his girlfriend picked him up and threw him over the thing.
No. I mean,
like
she hired somebody.
Have you seen his girlfriend? You don't know, Brian. You never know.
I'm telling you this. If I passed out right now and my wife, my son, and my 3 daughters tried to pick me up and throw me over a wall, it ain't happening. And that's seriously 5 people to 1. Like, that's not happening.
It could have been the Diddy conspiracy, too.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Diddy conspiracy, so there was one person on this list that was associated with P. Diddy that died. Who was
Pete Rose.
Dikembe
Nope.
Mutombo.
Nope.
Not in my house.
All right, Liam Payne.
It was Dr.
Glenn's
No, it was
car.
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, she was into that stuff.
With Diddy.
No, actually nobody was. It was it'd be funny though if it was Dr. Ruth, like a dirty little girl.
See, so you have on here Alain Delon, French actor, James Earl Jones, Darth Vader, rest in peace, Toby Keith, Bob Newhart, Tito Jackson, Lou Dobbs, Richard Simmons. Like, I didn't hear any news of Richard Simmons. Like, I saw his face on a People magazine, and that was about it, but I didn't hear any major announcement over Richard
Dude, I
Simmons.
thought that dude died like years ago. So,
Yeah. Probably think of
amazing.
Bob Ross.
Toby Keith died? I didn't know that.
Yeah, TK died. Pete Rose, controversial baseball star. Shifty Shellshock. I don't know if you guys would know him, but he was the lead singer in Crazy Town. Their famous song was Butterfly, so I listened to them in high school growing up. And yeah, you mentioned Dikembe Mutombo, not in my house.
Yeah, until Jordan dunked on him and waved his own finger. That was good. Did he get it? He got a technical for that, didn't he?
I'm sure he did. All right, last topic here, since we are getting a little bit long here. Movies of 2024, not comprehensive list. I just went through my plex of what I watched in 2024. Deadpool, Wolverine. I think that was the one that a lot of people were really looking forward to. I watched it. It was good. I liked it. Like, it wasn't amazing, like top 10 good, but I mean, I enjoyed it.
Some good fight scenes.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
like
was
how
good for what came out for the year so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in breaking the fourth wall, you could really appreciate that too from Deadpool. So I had Fall Guy, another very low key movie, but I enjoyed that one a lot. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That was a Glenn recommendation, which turned out to be a good one.
there you go.
I did not see that.
That had Reacher. Reacher was in it, and he's a huge friggin' guy in this movie too.
Yeah, but he opens his mouth
He did.
outside of the big screen.
I gotta watch the movie. He doesn't have much of a speaking role in this movie. So.
Is eye candy there, Glenn?
No. Yes. I was watching for
Yes.
Vic, so.
I would say The Beekeeper, probably best movie of 2024. The Beekeeper
Terrible
with Jason
movie.
There
Statham.
you go. There you go. There you go.
Top movie of 2024, The Beekeeper. And then Vic put down Dune 2, so you can make your pitch of why Dune 2 was the best movie of 2024.
Well, I think it's the best movie I've seen in probably, well, ever since Dune 1, I think, and before that, it must have been Harry Potter. It's like the first or second one. Like, they really...
What are you, like 15? Come on, dude. What's your movie scene?
He read the books.
It was amazing.
No.
There's a scene in Dune 2. Have you guys seen Dune 2?
I haven't even seen Dune 1.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's
I've
worth
watched
it. And it's the
pretty
scene
good.
where everything's in black and white for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's probably the best scene I've seen in my whole life. The way it's been choreographed and everything, it's amazing. It's a must.
I mean, to be fair, you're 22 years old, so what the hell do you know your entire life? Just
That's
kidding,
what I
Vic.
said.
Yeah, and Brian is used to movies in black and white. That's the only thing he saw for the first 50 years of his life. So
Well,
I'm
he
telling
also
you, yeah.
didn't hear
I
him
grew up-
speaking,
when I went to
too.
school.
They were miming each other, so.
Yeah, when I was first born, everything was in black and white. You're right.
or like the
So,
Mexican
have you guys seen?
Mexico filter.
The
I just
Sicario
watched a
filter.
movie last night on Netflix called Carry On, and I would say it's my new favorite Christmas movie.
All right. You got to watch it. I'm going to put
It's
it
got
on the list.
Jason Bateman's in there. Yeah, check it out. Don't watch the preview, just watch it. Or the trailer. Don't watch the trailer.
All right.
Just go for it.
Someone described it as messy and pedestrian. So you're going against this critic, Brian.
Which one? Carry On?
Yeah.
Most critics
I would
don't
say
know
it's-
what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's more bleak and misanthropic. If I'm going to use words that I don't know what they mean. So whatever. It was
an
good.
AI that.
All right, carrying on for Brian and Glenn. 2024 movie.
Probably Dune, Beekeeper. What else have I? I mean, what did I watch just recently? It was some stupid. Wicked just came out, and I had to watch that with the wife and
Ugh.
kids.
Watch
So
it.
Dude,
With
you're towing the
Ariana
line
Grande.
right there, man.
I just had to cry a little bit, Tear came out of my eye.
They're so
No
mean
way,
to that
really?
witch.
It was painful because I was so full from popcorn I couldn't stand up, so that's why I was crying. So,
No way. Carrie Ann was my movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wrote it because it was green.
yeah.
Wasn't Vic's choice. I don't know that I don't know that I watched a whole lot of movies this year.
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna lie
like
to you.
I used to love going.
It was a crappy year for movies. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Not a lot of blockbuster movies this year. Would you guys agree?
Bad,
Like in
Bad
the
Boys
last,
4, I think, was
Yeah.
decent.
who wants to watch Will Smith?
What's her name? Vanessa
I
Hudgens
watched
was
it,
in
wasn't
that.
impressed.
Yeah.
I don't like watching old sequel movies where the main actors and actresses are just bloated down. You're just like, ugh. I want to remember you
Russell
the way
Crowe
it used
in
to be.
Gladiator 2.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. That I
Oh,
watched
Twisters was
recently.
good.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Twisters. That one was good. The remake.
I'll give him that.
I haven't seen Gladiator 2 yet, so I can't comment on that. But that's on
Russell
my
Crowe's
to-watch
not in
list.
it. He's not in it.
Yeah, that's
Young
his
Russell
son.
Crowe is in it.
Yeah,
Is that really his son that's in the movie?
Oh,
not his
Did you guys
son's
see-
son, but Maximus'
Yeah.
son, the character.
Yeah.
they're coming out with Dexter, the original Sin. So they're going to still have Michael C. Hall be the voice, but it's going to be him as a kid growing up. Did you guys ever watch the original Dexter? No?
I watched the original, and then he told me to skip the remake, and then that's
No,
watch originals.
it wasn't a remake. It was a better ending. It was the ending that we deserved.
I thought you
Not
said they
how
made
it
him some
ended.
kind of deviant. Wasn't that the remake?
No?
All right. I'm going to go back in the
No,
transcripts, and you're like, yeah, the new Dexter
Yeah.
one, they made him some kind of deviant. It's really weird now.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. So, if you say deviant, if you're talking a little bit more, oh god, here's the one thing that kind of bugged me. So I think in the very first episode, he's going after his girlfriend, right? Like he's just like he's into it, right? But the reality is Dexter does not have those needs as a serial killer. Like that's not his thing. So I felt like it wasn't needed for the TV show. Like he's not that guy. He's never been that guy that's going to be having a relationship and being a normal dude. So
All right.
that's one thing I would probably disagree with. I thought it was a giant miss. But anyway, seeing him as a kid, that's going to be good. And we have to wrap, guys.
Yeah, Hugh over here has a meeting to get to.
Hughes. Hey, you say his first name, I'll say his last name, and we'll say he has to wrap.
Hugh.
And then Janice has to close up right now. So let's go, guys.
Well, you continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week. Dad joke of the week. This week, our guest Victor is up.
I'll screw this up, Vic.
Victor.
Come on, man.
I had one here. Why do hackers never need GPS?
Why is that, Vic?
Because they can always know the route.
That's a stupid Canadian pronunciation thing.
Yes. Got him.
That's like
Don't
Glenn
you
looks
mean the
confused.
It's a ruta. It's a ruta.
Where's the nearest route to the bar?
Route.
All right. Wah, wah.
You suck,
all I
Vic. Come on, man.
That's all we have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you find us on LinkedIn, links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deitch and Glenn Medina, and our guest Victor DeLuca, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. See y'all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
VDL is not allowed to tell Canadian dad jokes anymore. Bye, Felicia. Glenn out.
Glenn Seacrest out.
Hi, guys.
Have a nice day.